So we'll discuss all of them today. So to start with, so the course is Snowflake. I'll try to explain you whatever is required in order to work with in the real-time projects. All the topics are covered, or most of the topics are being covered as part of this training. The batch would be weekend batch. The timing, Preeti will let you know about the timing. So course duration would be approximately 30 hours. And then, so the important thing is somehow this is kind of blocking. So let us try to see the course coverage. So first, we will start with Snowflake, and then we will also inside Snowflake we will cover all the important features from Snowflake. Then we will also move on to SQL side, because SQL is mandatory if you want to work with Snowflake. That's why we will also give some details about SQL. And then, as you know, Snowflake works with all the clouds, AWS, GCP, and Azure. So in our training, we concentrate on the AWS side. So that's where we also discuss about S3 service, and there is a simple queue service to set up Snowpipe. Few services which are required when we are working with Snowflake that we will be discussing in this course. And then as part of your project, I will be explaining one ETL tool. So there, in order to get the data from any source, external source to Snowflake, as part of that, we will cover one ETL tool. And then just to show how real-time projects works, we will also introduce one reporting tool, probably Tableau or Power BI. So one of the reporting tool we will introduce. There we will create some visualization dashboards, and then we'll show. So to give you a flavor of end-to-end setup, we will give all these details. Then we also have the partner connectors for Snowflake. Let's say we want to integrate with Python, or if we want to integrate with some reporting tools. So Snowflake is already given a lot of connectors. So we will discuss about the connectors and then the real-time project at the end. So overall, we will cover all the areas, whatever we are mentioning here. And then let us go on further. Why? What is Snowflake? Before we go to the Snowflake side, so you should know what is data and how much importance we have for the data currently in the market. That you should know. And then you should know what is data warehousing. And then we can go with Snowflake. So first of all, nowadays, if you see in any company, without data, you cannot create any, you cannot take any decisions. So you cannot take any business decisions. You cannot take any kind of precautions without having a data in a first place. That's where whether you go to data analytics side, whether you go to data science, wherever you go. So all these technologies are data driven. Without data in a first place, you can't do anything. That's where let's take an example here. There is a XYZ car manufacturing company. Okay. And then the executives or top level management of that company would like to understand some insights about their business. For example, how much revenue that the company is getting in the current month, let's say, or in the last quarter, how much revenue that they made, or in the last half yearly, how much, weekly, how much, or yearly, how much they are getting. They wanted to see those details. Or let's say, since it's a manufacturing company, they might be manufacturing n number of car models, right? So if you want to see which car models are trending, why they wanted to see, because there is a reason. If there is a more trending for so on models, they have to make sure that they have to manufacture and then keep it ready in the warehouse so that when the customer place an order, they can deliver it at the earliest to the customer. That's why they wanted to see which car models are trending. What are let's say most of the time we works with the MNC clients, so they have the business across the world. So they wanted to see what are all the top 10 countries where they have more business. And then let's say least 10 countries where they do not have their footprint at all. So why they want to get a list? The reason is if you think about the business side, if we do not have our client do not have the business in so on countries, maybe they may start with advertising it, or giving some discounts, more advertisement, some more discounts in order to establish their business in the countries where they do not have the footprint. It will be helpful to understand least. And then as part of governance perspective, most of the companies have to submit their tax report, how much tax that they are paying. So how the business this year, how the business in last year, they want to compare, right? If if someone want to do all these insights, you have to do on top of data only. Without data, you cannot get these insights at all. This is one sample example for a manufacturing company. You take any company, so it has its own KPIs to bring. So that's the reason the data is very, very important nowadays, playing a crucial role. Okay. And then next, let us talk about data warehouse. So this data warehousing terminology is not a new term that we are hearing now. It's been there quite while, maybe 10 to 15 years before itself, there are data warehousing tools are there in the market. But what is data warehouse? So simple example, let us take any e-commerce application. Okay, take Snapdeal for example. So in case of Snapdeal, they might be having a warehouse. Generally, we say Flipkart is having a warehouse, Snapdeal is having a warehouse, and so on place, right? So what that means is they procure several products, different products from these different different suppliers, and then they keep it inside their warehouse. They get different products from different suppliers, and then they keep it inside warehouse. Every e-commerce business, they have the warehouses, and they get the products from different suppliers, and they'll store it in the warehouse. So that is if you talk about e-commerce side. If you talk about data warehousing in the sense, here we need to get the data from different sources and then keep it in our data warehousing tools. That's what here data warehousing means. Extracting the data from different sources and keep it inside this warehouse. That is called data warehousing means. So when you say different sources, you can get the data from the files, you can get the data from the cloud, you can get the data from the databases, IoTs, social medias. So we can get the data from different places and we can keep it inside data warehousing tool. This is what data warehousing means. Now, so why are we discussing about data warehousing now? The reason is Snowflake is also one of the data warehousing tool. Okay, that's what we are discussing about data and data warehousing. So Snowflake is a data warehousing tool, especially it's a cloud-based data warehousing tool. There is no on-premises support for Snowflake. It's a pure cloud-based data warehousing tool. And it works with all the three clouds. So Snowflake works with AWS, Azure, and GCP. Okay. And also we will discuss few more details in the later on once we start actual sessions. So in order to work with Snowflake, you don't need to install any softwares in your machine. You don't need to set up your hardware things and at your local laptops or machines. So everything they have given as a SaaS application, which is called software as a service. It's a ready to use application. Whenever you listen word called SaaS means it's a software as a service. That means ready to use application they are providing. So we just have to register and then start working with Snowflake. It is as simple as if you are using Android phone, go to Play Store and then get the app, whichever the game, whichever the thing that you want, and then you start using it. In the same way, here Snowflake also given SaaS applications, which is called Snowflake Web UI and Snowsite. So we can work with the tools directly without worrying about setting these hardwares, installations, all those things. We don't need to worry. And also you don't need to pay even any amount because it's a free trial accounts. We can register and we can work with this free trial accounts for 1 month. Of course, if that 1 month period is expired, you can again re-register using the same Gmail IDs and same passwords. You can register n number of times, no limitations. And then this we know now what is Snowflake and then what is data warehousing, right? So this is called data pipeline. Data pipeline in the sense end-to-end setup in Snowflake. Okay, so here you have the sources here. Sources in the sense the systems who provides the data to us. Maybe some client is having 3-4 sources. Sometimes maybe client has only one source. It's depending on the projects and the clients. So we may have a number of sources where we have actual data. So now you see this is the Snowflake, this box, this is the Snowflake. Now, so what we have to do is we have to extract the data from all these sources. Okay. In order to extract the data from these sources, we have several options. Probably you can use ETL tools, you can use ELT tools, you can use streaming processes. So it's depending on project to project, things may change. There are a wide variety options are there in the cloud. So some companies may use, for example, Apache Kafka, which is a streaming tool. Then some companies can use Amazon Kinesis, that is also streaming tool. Some companies they may use Matillion. So likewise, depending on the client architecture, they may have either ETL tools or streaming processes in place. So they will stream or they will extract the data from the source and then load it into your Snowflake. Okay. And then Snowflake supports different file formats as well. So you can load CSV files, you can load JSON files, you can load Parquet files, Avro files, XML files. All these files you can be able to load it into Snowflake. So this is the first part, loading the data into Snowflake from several sources. Now, once we get the data into Snowflake, we can start doing the data modeling or data transformations. So in Snowflake, we have quite nice features in terms of computation side. We have a concept called virtual warehouse. So, and then we have plenty of options to set up this virtual warehouse. So with that, we can start transforming your data. Because only you get the raw data into your Snowflake tables. Once we get the raw data into your tables, raw data will not be sufficient to create the dashboards. Like I want to create bar charts, I want to create donut charts. If you want to do it, raw data won't be sufficient at all. So that's where once we load the raw tables into Snowflake, then we have to do data modeling. Okay, you have to join the tables, you have to aggregate the tables, you have to calculate some things, right? You have to create a views, you have to create a procedures in some cases. So we will do all of them. And then once the final model is ready, That final model, we can consume it into any of the reporting tools. For example, I want to consume it in Tableau. Yes, we can consume, or Power BI. Yes, we can consume these reports. And then if we want to give it to data scientists for machine learning and do some predictions and all, we can also send it, or directly business users can consume it and create these charts and all. So this is what end-to-end process is involved in the Snowflake. Now, so this is all about the introduction for Snowflake site, what is mainly, what is all about. And then we also, wait, it's disturbing me a little bit. So this is as part of this course, we will be covering this course content. First, we will go to first session, we will discuss about Snowflake overview. So wherein we will again dig into introduction to Snowflake, what tools we have, how to register this free trial account, how to set up, what are the worksheets, and then how to create different objects in Snowflake. And then we discuss about Snowflake architecture. Okay. And then we discuss about DDL and DML. So how to create the table, how to insert the, how to modify, how to update, how to delete. These are all the things that we will discuss on SQL side, so that you will be more comfortable with the tool. First thing is you have to be comfortable with the tool. So that's why we discuss about this DDL and DML. By this time you will be more comfortable with the navigations on your tool. And then we discuss about SnowSQL. So SnowSQL is another way of interacting with Snowflake databases. So that we will discuss. It's a command line interface. So there we have different commands in order to work with Snowflake. Put command, get command, copy command. So all these things we will discuss. Then I will also introduce stages. So we have internal stages, external stages, what exactly each stage means. Again, in internal stages, we have several other stages as well. Okay, that and all we will discuss. Then external stages also we will discuss. So for that, we have to have it separate external AWS account. I will also give you how to register with that external AWS accounts, and then how to create this storage integration object. So how to create these external stages, that we will discuss as part of the stages. Then, then we also register this AWS account outside, and then we start interacting with external AWS account. At that time, we will discuss about some of the AWS services, like if I want to store some files in S3, simple storage service we have to discuss, because whatever the files that you store in AWS, those must be stored in S3 buckets. So that's where what is S3, so why we have to use S3, how to create the buckets, folders, how to store the files, all these things I will explain. And then file formats I will explain. Just now I told you into Snowflake you can load different types of files. So that's where we can create this file format object once, and we can utilize this file format object during the data loading process. That we will discuss. Then important point is that data loading and data unloading. How do you load the data into Snowflake? How do you unload the data from the Snowflake? You can load it into Snowflake. Also, you can unload from the Snowflake. Both are possible. Those both we will see practically. And then Snowpipe to automate your loading process. So we can set up this Snowpipe in place, so that when file comes into S3 bucket, automatically that file will be loaded into your Snowflake tables. To automate your data loads, we can use this Snowpipe. And then streams and then tasks are there. Once after you load the data into your Snowflake tables, so you have to use the streams and tasks in order to merge with the final tables, actual tables. that we will discuss. Then connectors, we will connect with Python, we will connect with reporting tools. At that time, we will discuss about what connectors we have to use, how to use all those details. Then especially JSON files are a little bit tricky files. Okay, so JSON files, Parquet files, Avro files, XML files, all these files comes under semi-structured data. Okay, so basically when you have the data, it can have three formats: structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data. So you can have three types of data in any projects. So okay, so structured data means it's a CSV files. It has proper structure. So I will show you later on how CSV file looks like. So CSV files comes under structured data. Semi-structured means JSON file, Avro, Parquet, XML, all these files comes under semi-structured. Unstructured means your PDF files, pictures, all this comes under unstructured data. So here, how the JSON file, I will also show you how JSON file looks like, how to process the JSON file, how to load, how to process this JSON files, that we will discuss. Then data sharing we will discuss. Let's say you have created some objects in your Snowflake account. Everybody has their own Snowflake account, right? Once after we register with the free trial account. Let's say you have created some objects and you want to share that objects to another member, another Snowflake account. So you can easily share by using this data sharing concept. How data sharing concept works, what are all the limitations, what are all the rules out there for this data sharing, that we will discuss. Next thing is zero copy cloning. This is the unique feature from Snowflake side. Generally, I will also compare how this cloning works in the traditional databases, how it works in Snowflake. There is a huge difference between traditional and here. It's a very nice feature from Snowflake side. That I will also show. Time travel and fail safe. Let's say you have done some mistakes. For example, instead of updating one record, you might be updated some other records. Or for example, you deleted some records, or you dropped some table, you truncated some table by mistake in the projects. Then this time travel and failsafe is very much useful to access the historical data. So here I will show you so what is time travel, how to access the previous data, historical data, what are all the options are there, all those things I will show you. And then we will also compare the difference between time travel and failsafe, because many people confuse what is time travel, what is failsafe. So that I will show you the differences clearly. And then at the end, we will discuss about some performance techniques and data clustering side. After that, we will go to this real-time project. So there we will discuss about data pipeline end-to-end setup, and then the conclusion. So this is all the important topics that we will be covering as part of this course. Now, so this is the overall syllabus side. This is the introduction side. Now, any questions from your side? It's open for questions now. Please go ahead and then raise your questions. Do you have any questions or concerns? Hello, please feel free to talk. Don't hesitate to talk. Hello. So please speak. It should be more interactive so that if you have any questions also anytime, you can stop and ask me in between. Okay, I'm more comfortable in to work with interactively. So if you have any questions, I make sure that you get all good examples. If you don't understand, please stop me then and there. I can also take some other example so that you will be more comfortable in understanding that concept. So I need kind of your inputs.
Sir, may
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I? So I understood that it collects from XML files, CSV. That's okay.
Mhm.
Can we get the data from different sources also?
Yeah, you can get the data from, let's say, you are having the data in databases. Let's say, for example, in PostgreSQL database, there you have the data setting, and you want to load the data into Snowflake. Yes, you can do. Or let's say in other database, some other database data is setting, and you want to load the data into Snowflake. Yes, you can do. Even if you have the data in SharePoint, for example, some files are setting in SharePoint, still you can load them. Yes, you can do that. It is possible. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions from anybody? Cool. So I will be going very slow pitch so that you understand the concept, and whatever we promised here as part of the curriculum, most of the topic except probably introduction sessions, everything I will show you in the system. Every class would be practical. We will go to that topic, and then practically I will show directly in the tool. I'll just show you the tool, how it looks like. Just kind of a minute I will show so that you will get a feel. This border is disturbing me. So you see your UI looks, this tool is called Snow Site. Okay. Earlier, probably 2 years back, they have given Snowflake Web UI. Okay, that was old. Even in the industries also, some people still using Web UI, Snowflake Web UI. Okay, but my recommendation for you guys is you are learning freshly, so start with Snowsite directly. The reason is lot of options won't be there in Web UI because that is old and also obsolete. Very near future also, even they won't support for Web UI. Already they removed for free trial accounts. We do not have any option to go back to old UI. They removed completely, so we have to work with this Snowsite tool only. But in the projects, still some people are working in the classic Snowflake Web UI. Okay, but my recommendation is start using Snowsite from the beginning itself so that you will be more comfortable with the latest tool. Next thing is, so this is how the UI looks like. Here, main important portion for the beginning for us is worksheets. So
Sorry, we
he
can't see anything.
is it.
Means other than the, yeah.
So probably I have to share again. Let me see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for confirming. Yeah. So in case if you have any that kind of disturbances, right, you please stop me so that I will immediately rectify it. Okay. Right. So this is called Snowside tool that I was talking about. So here mainly worksheets. We will go to this worksheet. Python, this Snowflake is tightly even integrated with Python as well. There is a concept called Snowpark. So you can also do the uh, logic using Python as well. But primarily SQL is more important. So we will discuss more in detail in the future. But to give you at a high level, this is what worksheet means. Here you can start writing your queries, whatever the queries that you want to write. you can write here, for example. And then here you have the options for what roles that you want to select. And there is a concept called virtual warehouse that we will discuss, very important topic. You need to set every worksheet, you have to set here roles and the warehouse. Here you have to set the database and schema. Okay, so these are all the things you have to set, and then you can work with it. You can run the queries and you can see the result here. Okay, it's just kind of, I'm just giving you just heads up here, but we will discuss in detail about all the options, navigations, what are there for this tool in the future classes. Okay, good. So any questions from anybody?
So what do you use daily in your projects? Is this one and Snowflake or Web one?
Snow site we have to use always.
So do you also use Snow site?
Yes, yes, yes. Snow
Then yeah, we have competitor AWS also, right? For doing this.
okay, so think about this. AWS, you are talking about Redshift, or you are
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about only
yeah. AWS Redshift means what I'm
Amazon
asking is
Redshift? You are talking, right?
why should we go only for Snowflake instead of
Exactly. Good. Yeah, yeah. Now I understand. Basically, we are comparing the different cloud-based data warehousing tools, right? So if you see right now, as of now in the market, from AWS side, we have Amazon Redshift. From Google side, they have given BigQuery. From Azure, we have Synapse. And then outside of these three, we have Databricks and Snowflake. Okay. Now, why Snowflake is powerful than other tools? If you see in the industry also, there are some people are migrating from Amazon Redshift to Snowflake. There are some people migrating from BigQuery to Snowflake. So the reason is that because of its features from Snowflake side. So if I say this computation power, this computation power is more and more flexible in Snowflake. You can instantly, dynamically increase your computation power, decrease your computation power. You can scale up, scale down, scale out. So you have the single cluster, multi-cluster setup on a Snowflake side. Secondly, in Snowflake, you can scale computation power and storage independently. They are not tightly integrated each other. They are decoupled completely. Once we see that architecture diagram, so you will get to know the computation power and the storage is completely independent in Snowflake. Let's say you want to increase the storage, you can increase separately. You can scale separately. Let's say you want to increase computation power only. Yes, you can do it independently. But in Redshift, they are tightly coupled, storage and this one, computation. That is one main big difference. Secondly, Snowflake side, they have given quite good features. For example, zero copy cloning, time travel, the cache concept. There are different topics that are given in Snowflake. They are kind of more special than other databases. And the connectors that they have given and the support that they have given for Python mainly. So due to that only, the Snowflake is more and the main architecture side also, Snowflake is kind of very optimized architecture when you are running the queries and all. We have seen quite a lot of improvement when we after migrating into Snowflake in terms of performance, in terms of cost side. So due to that, many people are now migrating from various other data warehousing tools to Snowflake in the market. Is that answer your question?
Yeah, maybe as we get deep into the subject, I'll get more clear picture.
Yes, yes, true, true. Because the reason is you should know first Snowflake features. Then you will be more familiarized why it is popular or why it is different than others.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for asking.